Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Dior, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 6. In this match, we have Leaf versus Leaf. So, uh, okay, yeah, I didn't change anything with my box. I'm still using Angelina. As for our opponent, we do have a Juggler, a couple of Assassins, some AoE, some Time Faction, a little bit of everything. Another new map. This one's, I think we might have done Cavern of Light. I don't remember if we had or not. This one's a bit rough, but there is a decent amount of grasslands if you want to use someone like Illustrial. Other than that, it's just a cave with I believe the river in the middle is actually a swamp, so it's just really hindering for cavalry. Anyway, take out the Juggler. They banned my Sakura first. I'm not sure why. That's one of the reasons why I kind of kept Sakura around. Is just because people like to ban her for some reason. So yeah, ban one of their assassins, get rid of Rian. I was kind of okay with leaving Omega in just in case. Went ahead and took Sophia. They start banning my legs and my assassins. They take Yusuke. So that means I can take out their other assassin. I went ahead and got rid of Liana because I didn't want to deal with Act Again. You generally don't want Act Agains on the second player because it's actually pretty dangerous. The drawback of using Act Again skills, like Liana's, is if you happen to be going first every round, you end up giving up that initiative. But if you're already going last or going second, you can safely use those skills freely, which is why it's seen as better and as a player 2 ability. Went ahead and took Illustrial. Like I said, there's enough grasslands to play around with for assassinations if I need it. They banned my healers. I don't get why. Like, I've already grabbed a healer. You shouldn't need to ban them. I think I banned some of their healers. No, I banned a healer. I was gonna force them to pick. They technically had 3 healers and a deflet, though most people don't use Chorus as healing. They let me have Young Jessica, so I brought in Young Jessica. Pretty much the idea was I would get Young Jessica, and if they let me have my faction buffer, I'm taking my faction buffer. If they ban my faction buffer, I'll probably take like Angelina or something. I've been doing that 2 tank setup quite a bit. It actually works pretty well because it gives me a lot of buff coverage, and it makes it so I don't have to use AoE heals to apply Sophia's buff. All I have to do is just do single target heals on Albedo. Yeah, and I kind of just banned a bunch of stuff here. I think I just banned stuff that I considered a little dangerous, mostly AoEs. Obviously, Mystery Knight was kind of dangerous. Elwyn could be potentially a threat. But yeah, that's all we got to deal with. A couple of single targets and then Mystery Knight. So I don't really... Against single targets, I'm completely fine with that. Alright, so right off the bat, I am moving in, it looks like. So, the only legs they have in this group is Mystery Knight, and Mystery Knight is using Steel Wing Warriors, so she doesn't even have the extra mobility, or the terrain negation. So I can safely move up as far as I want with Young Jessica and get her set up as her turret. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my coverage here. So really, really useful. Nothing too special to note. Illustrial's my standard kit. Illustrial roundabout with 3 cost and 2 cost. Albedo I went with block for obvious reasons. Sophia is Sophia. Freya I went ahead and grabbed Iron Rose. I believe I mentioned in a previous video where I lost Albedo and then Mystery Knight killed everybody because I didn't have Magic Guard on Freya. Speaking of Freya, I'm recording this on Sunday, and this match was on Sunday. The 4th shop is open on the event, which means her crystal is now available. So I started doing her SP stuff pretty much the moment it was available. But her SP stuff requires fighting the Red Dragon, and it requires fighting Valkyrie, both of which are not available on Sundays, which pisses me off. I really wish they had changed that for the SP thing. Like, make it a special match where you can fight it anytime you want and not get a reward, maybe. I would have preferred that, because I really want to make Freya into an SP class. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm literally 1 battle short from getting her class unlocked. There's like 2 phases for the transformation. The first one gets you the class itself, and then the second batch will get you her skill, the skills associated with it, and troops as well. So in essence, you kind of have to do both in order to actually get the full benefits. But I can't even get the base class from it because the last requirement for the first phase is you have to fight level 60 Red Dragon with Freya, Freya and Sophia, I believe. So yeah, didn't get that option. Anyway, didn't really look at our opponent, did I? Standard Mystery Knight, Yusuke has a faction buff, going Dark Tincture like always. Faction buff Elwen with her standard attack skills. Weiler is pretty standard AoE heal with regroup and high stakes. And then Landius is Landius. So something I want you guys to watch what he does. So he opens not with his faction buff, but with his guard. This is important. So right now he does have the Helmeteer or whatever it's called, which gives him a passive. It gives him a buff if he doesn't attack. So right now he has 3 buffs active. He has his guard buff, his fancy move again aura buff thing, and then of course he's got the buff from the tier helmet. I can remove 2 buffs with cleanse. So there's a high chance I can get rid of his guard buff right now. And I go first next round. So, and I'm within 6 range. So my plan here was like, alright, I'm going to take out your guard buff. And that's going to really, really mess with him. So yeah, moving in, Breeze procced. I'm not too worried about Breeze. Yusuke's gonna go ahead and buff up, that's fine. So all I have to do is just keep Albedo buffed. So, pretty easy to do there. Got Eternal Light going. Get the faction buff going. Alright. So right off the bat, hit you with Cleanse, which almost kills. Like I almost just flat out murdered him. I got rid of everything but his helmet buff. So I got rid of his. I completely negated his 3 costs guard buff, which was perfect. Mystery Knight moved in, did her AoE, as you can see. Okay. I mean, it did some damage, but it's not enough. And I was like, alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just poke you at 3 range. Get that res, the proc. Look how, and also notice that I don't think my opponent noticed that I had removed his guard. Because he moved here. He could have easily moved here and be able to protect the Knight of Mystery. So I think my opponent is still assuming that Landius has 2 range on his guard, which is not the case. So at this point, I'm kind of pushing aggressively. I'm trying to make sure I have tank coverage for Lustriel here, because there's plenty of grasslands up here. So I guess the big issue here is I can't fight on the bridge, and I can't fight on this cave stuff. So I have to fight on these grassland tiles here to get the bypass guard. I don't really need to worry about that with Knight of Mystery, but my plan was to go after Elwen. But my plan changed when Yusuke moved up to here. Again, I think my opponent assumed that he still had that guard buff up. So right now, both Yusuke and Knight of Mystery both don't have guard coverage right now. So I pass turn in place so I can get my act again and get my 2 movement. Move in, and take out Yusuke. I needed to take out Yusuke first because obviously he gets buffed up a bunch if I kill his allies. So Sword Soul, this actually removed a bunch of my buffs. Did some decent damage. She's definitely in kill range from Knight of Mystery at this point, so I went ahead and moved up. I was kind of torn between just going for the kill or covering Albedo. Since like I mentioned before, I have the Iron Rose, so as long as I'm within 1 range, I can guard magic. So yeah, I was torn between covering Albedo or just trying to get a kill in. I could have killed either Mystery Knight or Elwyn. If I had gone for Mystery Knight, it would have exposed Illustrial to Landius, which isn't too big of a deal, but still a thing. I was a little concerned about Landius realizing, oh, I don't have guard coverage, let me move so I can cover. But it didn't really matter. Mystery Knight moved all the way up here, didn't realize that Freya had guard coverage, and attacked. If she had attacked Freya instead, Albedo would have guarded Freya, and that would have resulted in a kill. It wouldn't have mattered because self-res would have procced, but it was still something. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump on to the next one. Alright, so 2 losses later, I'm back in this situation where I have to get 2 wins to actually go up a rank. So I'm going to get Septville, and I'm fighting on this map, Windy Outpost. They ban my D-Lit right off the bat. I ban their Juggler. What's our opponent got? 3 tanks, it looks like. Actually has a Liffany, of all people. I kind of want to use Liffany, like that. She's definitely one of those cool characters I wanted to mess with, but I haven't really used her since Season 1. And she's actually a lot worse now because Rose and Seal exist. So she's unfortunately kind of just one of those characters that gets completely shut down by her. Everything else, a little bit of it's kind of a mixed bag. There's some assassins, some AoE. Kind of, I hate using the term standard, but I mean this is definitely not meta. But kind of the general layout is kind of standard, I guess. It had a little bit of mix of everything. Pick my Albedo. They bams my healers, that's fine. This usually only is a problem if they ban like Liana and Sophia. Like if they get all my like main buffers taken out, that can be a bit of a problem. But it's not the end of the world. Anyway, they take Landius. I ban their assassin and Ares. And I take Sophia. I had to take Sophia at this point because I had no other healers. Usually most opponents would ban someone like Illustrial at this point because Illustrial just rocks this map. But my opponent did not do that. Instead, they decided to ban one of my assassins, Angelina, which they are threats as well. But yeah, as a third pick, I'm definitely taking Illustrial here. Anyway, ban their Listel and their other assassin. Take Illustrial. They ban some more of my long legs. They take a D-Lit. I banned Luna so they don't get any magic resistance and get rid of their self-resing Yulia. And since I banned the Luna, I went ahead and took young Jessica. And they left me with Freya, so I was going to take Freya because that gives me buff coverage. And I went ahead and banned. I didn't want to deal with the stupid pet nonsense from Gizaroff. I obviously did not want to deal with another the Yank teleporting of Ledin. So I was completely fine with them having Liffany or TRS at this point. They actually take Liffany. So neat thing about Liffany is she's one of those caster types that actually has aim, so she can actually move extra steps. And those that extra move tends to get her a lot of extra bombs that she can put out with her magic creation. But like I said, Rose and Seal exist, and there's a lot of cleansing with Liana and those types of characters, so she tends to get negated pretty easily. In any case, I went ahead and moved in, and let's go ahead and show this off. That's my coverage with Illustrial. Any defensive terrain that she goes across, she negates the movement cost for the first 4 every round. So that's her coverage right now. She covers nearly, pretty much, like 2/3 to 75% of the map right now. And I think my opponent realizes that, and that's why they're buffing in place. As for our opponent, support D-Lit, Liffany, standard. This is kind of a standard Liffany kit here. Aim, Magic Vortex, 3-cost skill, and Acid Burns for the heal negation. Obviously, the big thing I was worried about is Magic Vortex, because that does yank you about, and it can also root you in place. It's also something you can put on a tank, and that bomb can't be dispelled. essentially changes your tank into an actual fixed damage bomb. And the fixed damage from the 3-cost skill, I believe, bypasses resistance, but I'm not entirely certain. Yeah, bypasses fixed damage immunity. Standardly, support Leona with a Glass of Bowl. And then Bozel here is gone just full debuffs. Didn't even bring a faction buff. Nothing too special here. Freya, I kept Iron Rose because all my opponents were magic pretty much. And then single target Jessica, and everything else is standard. So at this point I went ahead and moved in. I count the steps. This was actually a little risky because I forgot to take into account Leona's act again. So it's possible that Lifany with Sky Archers, which bypass terrain, she could have moved up, get act again, and get all the way up to here and just cause problems. But by herself, she wouldn't be able to do enough. So yeah, I think it was still pretty safe to move up to here. Also, as you can see, moving up to here, I have coverage of everything except for 4 tiles. Now coverage, I mean that includes the 3 range from the Ullr's bow. Generally you want to attack at 2 range to take advantage of her skills. So yeah, moving in, I'm keeping track of Bozel's movements and whether or not he gets act again or anything. So what's great is I force Dealit to actually proc her act again because she can't get out of threat range. So I'm just kind of passing turns a little bit, just seeing what my opponent does. I mean, obviously I can go in and kill something right now easily, but if I do that, I will get killed. And I don't want to throw away my Lustriel. The other thing to note is Landius, anything within 2 range of him right now will negate move again. So that is something I want to keep track of. So what I can do here now is I can actually go and deal with Lifany and then move 2 spaces to get to like here, which still puts me in range of Landius. I don't really need to worry about Dealit at all because Dealit's act again has been procced. So, I mean, I can definitely do a hit and run right now. So yeah, went ahead and just use this opportunity to go ahead and dispel some stuff. So cleanse, do a lot of damage. This will also force my opponent to consider healing. I didn't get. It's a pretty unlikely chance that I get rid of the guard buff, but I did get rid of some of the other buffs. Yeah, Landius just has so many buffs that it's just ridiculous. Alright, so I went ahead and moved in since the act again has been procced. So the key thing here is really it was all about timing. I had to make sure Leona used up her turn so she can't do act again, but I also wanted to specifically kill a target that's already acted. Because if I did that, it means that it'll be my opponent's turn, they have to do something, and then it'll be my turn, and I get to go first next round. So that was the plan. Because if I killed something like someone that had already acted, like Bozel, then it would have been end of round, everything refreshes, and my opponent would go first next round. So with this, I can just move in and get another kill. With no issue. Alright. I couldn't move again because Roundabout has a cooldown. But at this point I took out pretty much their primary attackers. So I was like, alright, well you kill her, good job. You're still within 6 range, so I'm just gonna hit you with Fireball. And there we go. Yeah, Illustrial with Young Jessica is a really good combo here, as long as your opponents don't have any way of rushing you down. Alright, so as usual, I'm back to a win away from actually going up a rank. So we got Sakura. They banned Sakura first. Again, I got Windy Outpost. My opponent, like I said, a little bit of mix of AoE. There's 1, 2, 3. Is it really only 3 healers? Yeah, 3 healers. No Dealit. Besides that, I mean, they have a passive heal with Rachel, and that's about it. couple assassins. Obviously, they got 2 tanks. Okay, a little bit of everything. So, ban their juggler. I take Albedo. Alright, they start going for my attackers, so I was actually pretty safe, so I was like, I think I grabbed a Celestial immediately. I banned their assassins. So one key thing to note is I actually did not ban their Zerida. Usually I ban their Zerida first, and then, you know, leave behind like Omega or something. But in this case, I was like, I'm going to be grabbing Celestial, and Zerida's extra movement is based off being able to do hide and seek, and she can't hide and seek if she has no place to hide. So I grab Celestial, and I'll let my opponent have Zerida. I was a little concerned they may ban my healers, but I was guaranteed to at least have a healer to spare. They take TRS, I take Sophia. Out of all the healers, they let me have Sophia, so I was pretty good to go there. This one was actually smart enough to ban my young Jessica, so I couldn't have the extra artillery. But yeah, I banned their. At this point, I wanted to leave behind casters specifically, just so I can, because it's easier to kill casters with Illustrial. So I was like, I'll go ahead and deal with their high mobility and any characters that have extreme range. I took Rosa CL. Or not Rosa CL, sorry, Rosalia. They banned the rest of my healers for no reason. And they went Bozel. So they leave me with Freya again, so guess who I'm going to pick. At this point I went ahead and banned the rest of their AoE nonsense. I was completely fine with them having an Elwyn. If they had taken Leon, it would have been even easier. Alright, nothing really to point out in the left side. It's pretty much the same units. It kind of comes in, I guess it goes in bursts. Like, they'll let me have certain characters for a while, and then they'll ban those first, and I have to change up my strats. But yeah, we don't usually... Yeah, we occasionally get a Rosalia, so it's a little bit of everything. It's at least not the same setup I do in, you know, in Season 5 over and over again. Anyway, I moved up. I was a little concerned. Well, one thing I didn't keep in mind of was a Breeze proc. But real quick, let's go over our coverage. So here's our coverage. There are 4 tiles I don't have coverage on. And she moves to the one of the few tiles that were open. So she can hide and seek there. She does proc Breeze. So that's her range with Breeze and hide and seek. So that's, you know, 9 movement here. Still out of range. So she can't do anything with this. Like, she transformed, but I can just let her pass turn, and she won't be able to do anything with it. So, get some buffs applied. So, Elwyn moved up. My opponent had not put up a guard buff yet. They went faction buff first. So, I was like, alright, well, I'll just move in. And just go straight for the kill. It is attacking into forest. They can't counter. And they give up. So there you go. So I just wanted to show that fight off, because it was after all the pain I went through here, all my losses. I did get to Silver 1. It's a pretty good chance I'm not going to get Gold 3 by the time this day is over. The next round's already just started. I'm probably going to skip this sprint. I might do the one that's in the next 3-hour bracket and maybe try a few there. But I'm Silver 1. It's going to be as good as I'm going to get for right now. I think I'm going to try for Gold 3 once I get Freya all up and running with her new SP class. I'm going to have to redo her class enchants, which is going to be super annoying. Because she's going to need holy stones, and I don't have a lot of those. But it is what it is. What's my win percentage? Yeah, I've been at 50%. Like, I'm exactly 50% of my win rate, and it's kind of frustrating because it keeps going back. It's 50% in a way that ensured that I did not go up a rank. So here's hoping, like, if I can keep 50% where I'm just losing every other fight, I can get to gold 3. But a lot of times it doesn't work that way. In any case, I feel a lot better now that I've kind of gone over these videos. Like I said, I was a bit tilted because of RNG and also just me making a stupid mistake that would throw the match. I should have been silver 1 like twice, like 3 times over at this point, but I kept messing up. As you can see, this is the box now. The only other person I would consider dropping is Sakura and maybe swapping her in for somebody else. I know some people recommended Yulia. Obviously, Yulia is really good. The big issue is short legs. She doesn't really move very far. She does have breeze, but it's not something I like relying on. And anytime I get Yulia, I end up going against an opponent where she doesn't do very well, unfortunately. So I'm not exactly sure what I would replace Sakura with. I may just go Yulia just so I can have passive healing. The other option, of course, is maybe another caster. Or a thing I was thinking about back when I was picking swapping in Angelina was possibly taking Estelle and having another option for buffing. That might be something I'd be willing to do. Yeah, you know what? Let's try this out. I'm kind of okay with this option. And a lot of times my opponent will leave me with tanks anyway, so that would give me the option to be like, alright, I can either grab Estelle or Freya at the end. So that's not too bad. I think we can do that. Alright, well, that's it for right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to record anymore today. I still have to do other games to record, but anyway, I am The Depressed Dior. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 6. See you guys later.